Hey everyone, welcome to RT Infrastructure Micro Lessons, where we cover short and practical lessons on networking, network automation, and AWS. In today's micro lesson, we're going to learn about how to find devices on the network. So we've kind of all been there where we're trying to figure out where this device is on our network. Um, Maybe going walking into the data center or network closet. Wires are all over the place, not labeled. Can't figure out where this one device is. And there is a way to do that only using the switches instead of physically looking at them. Uh, the best way, in my opinion, is going through the switches just because, depending on site and different things, maybe you have a huge network, you're not really going to be able to figure out where they are all the time. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing we want to do is actually find the MAC address for the device. MAC address is the physical address of the device, and all devices have one. Um, One way you can do that is actually going to the device and, should show you either on the back or on the device. Or if you're, for instance, like a PC, if you do a IP config slash all, it would show you the physical address, aka the MAC address. Another way to do it is if you know the IP address of that device, if you go to the switch and if you do a show ARP, you can go ahead and take a look at the IP address and it would also show you the MAC address. So there's a few ways to find the MAC address, and once you do find the MAC address, you want to actually go to that same switch that the device is connected to, and then do a show MAC address table. And we're not seeing it here, so we'll just go ahead and do a ping real quick. 1.4, let it ping, and then we'll go back to the show MAC address table, and then as you can see it shows up C086, and it says we're connected to F01. So that is the best way of kind of figuring out where those connected. So a little note about that is, one, as you just saw, sometimes they won't show up in the MAC address table or the ARP table. So doing a ping does help. And another thing is, when you start getting into these bigger infrastructure, when you have 50 switches, and like 500 plus devices, you don't want to have to go to each individual switch. Say for instance, you don't know it's on switch one. What happens if you don't know that? Do you have to go to each and every single switch and log in and do a show MAC address to figure out where it is? No, not really. What you can do is you can go to the core switch or the distribution layer switch, depending on how big your network is, and that's usually going to be the device that connects all other switches connects to. And you can go from there and take a top down approach to it, where you'll go in here, you'll do a show MAC address table. And here, let me go ahead and ping that as well. 168.1.4. And you're gonna see that it says, oh, see, here's the MAC address, and it says it's coming from Fast Ethernet 01. It's coming from Fast Ethernet 01. So you're like, okay, so what is Fast Ethernet 01? So if you do a show int, and this is where documentation is key. But if you look at the description, it says, "Oh, it's a downlink to switch one." Okay, so now I know from here to get to that MAC address table, I have to come down here. So then I'll come down here, I'll do my show MAC address table again, and then I see it here. C086 is coming from Fast Ethernet 01. Okay, now I know which port that is coming from. So that's how I'm able to tell, okay, it's in switch one and it's coming from port Fast Ethernet 01. So documentation is really key in this aspect, where you need to make sure you have documentations or your downlinking, your uplinks labeled. And then also finally, having a diagram also helps as well. But the biggest thing is sometimes you're not able to just start from, you know, the top, from just this switch and then finding it. You might have to start from another switch and then work your way down. So keep that in mind. And that's it for this one. I'll see you guys on the next one.